In 2007, a plate of scrambled eggs completely shattered my confidence. I had grand plans of coming up with the best vegan scrambled egg recipe of all time to kind of reclaim that trauma, but there was a bit of an issue.
Hello and welcome to Blush, the world's first wellness show that's actually entertaining. I'm Hiva and I quit law so I can help you look and feel your best. Together, we get into food, nutrition, all the latest wellness trends, but we also laugh, get silly, drop a few F-bombs, and go on a million tangents. So if that sounds like your vibe, we're about to be best friends.
Before I get into the issue, I want to explain what's going on here. So I have some mushrooms, some tomatoes, and some onions. I'm gonna throw them in the oven because I want to roast them and it's gonna take a little bit. I also have some other tomatoes chopped up in a baking dish roasting in there. We're gonna use them for the final dish, which honestly, we'll see how it turns out, but you're about to hear the whole story. So let me just throw this in the oven. And then, before we actually get into the whole story of the scrambled eggs, the trauma, and my version of scrambled eggs, which I'll explain the whole situation, we've got to make a coffee. And we have to talk about coffee real quick. Okay, so I didn't used to drink coffee until very, very, very recently in my life. And I have now created this coffee drink that I truly, genuinely think is like the best coffee of all time. It's basically espresso with chai spices. Specifically, I use cardamom, cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, and vanilla, which is not traditionally in chai spices. But what's even cooler is I use whole cloves and whole cardamom. I do not use the other spices in whole format. And then I use a spice grinder to make my own little chai spice mix, which like so elite, so homemade, yada, yada, yada. But this is where things get a little bit dicey. I can't make espresso. When I started drinking coffee, I bought myself a pour over setup. I have ground coffee. I even have a coffee grinder so I could buy whole beans. That's not the issue. The issue is I don't have an espresso maker. And apparently making coffee is not the same as making espresso. So I can't really make espresso in a pour over type situation. So I use instant espresso. I know that's kind of trashy. Now I will say this brand has like very chic packaging, so I feel like it's a little bit better than if I just use like any, rinky dink kind of instant espresso, but this is kind of weird. Like it's kind of weird that I use instant espresso, especially given everything I just told you about how I like hand grind all these spices. I mean, I don't hand grind them. I use an electric grinder, but still, everything else gets all this effort put into it, and then the espresso is instant. But listen, I have done a bit of research into like what espresso maker to buy or what I need in terms of an espresso maker. And I really cannot find clear-cut answers to this question. So I would love to know from you guys, like, what should I buy? I will buy an espresso maker. I'll even spend money on it. That's not a concern of mine. My concern is the space that it takes up and the ease of use. Like the ones that I've seen seem kind of difficult to use. So I don't know. Anyway, with instant espresso, if you want to be a trashy person like me, all I do is I just mix the instant espresso powder with the spices powder. By the way, I'll tell you exactly the ratios that I used for that. Yes. Okay, I did 2 tablespoons of cardamom, 2 tablespoons of cloves. By the way, freshly ground cloves rather than buying already ground cloves, the difference in flavor is unreal. I crave this so badly because when I was home a few weeks ago, my mom had made her own ground cloves And ever since then, I will never go back. So those two I use whole, and then 1 tablespoon of nutmeg, 3 tablespoons of Ceylon cinnamon. There are different types of cinnamon, and cassia cinnamon is a lot more fragrant, but I guess it's not so good for you. I don't think it's like really bad for you unless you have a lot of it, but like in moderation, it's fine. But Ceylon cinnamon, I guess, is like almost medicinal, like it's way better for you. Anyway, so 3 tablespoons of Ceylon cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of ginger, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla bean, like in powder format, but not vanilla powder. So not the white stuff. That stuff usually has sugar added to it. This is brown the way, you know, vanilla beans are. Okay, so I poured just a bit of hot water on that, not a ton, just enough to like bloom the spices or whatever. Again, we're using instant espresso, so like it actually doesn't have to be hot. I also don't use boiling water for that. I just use the 80 degrees Celsius water, which is what I have set up for my matcha. All right, so I'm adding my soy milk. You guys know how I feel about the soy milk. And then I will froth it. By the way, who wears a cape to do a cooking show? Like, literally when I put it on, Ozzy was like, but what about your hands? Like, are you gonna be able to cook easily? And I was like, I don't know, we'll see, we'll find out. But it's so chic. Also, who wears all white? I am so fucking excited for this coffee. I was drinking this every day, but then I got a sinus infection last week, and so I just kind of was dead to the world for a while, and I didn't have it. And then I've been back in the world for 2 days, if you will, and I've only had matcha, and I've been so excited for my coffee drink. Okay, so this is my favorite glass straw that I have, and I actually have a lot of glass straws. And then I broke it recently, and it was just the worst day of my life. And I had a really hard time replacing it, but I finally got a replacement for it, and it's actually my first time using it. So very exciting moment for us. Also, it's way too late in the day for me to be having coffee, but I really wanted to show you guys how I make this coffee because it's so good. No, I'm obsessed with this coffee. It's so good. Because it is later in the day though, I'm gonna have an L-theanine with my coffee, which is an amino acid that's naturally found in tea. And it's a little bit of, like, it's like good for anxiety and things like that. And so I always try to pair it, not always, but I often try to pair it with caffeine to counteract the jitteriness and whatnot. But you know what? I'll just take extra melatonin tonight. Like, so worth it. God, that's so fucking good. Okay, we need to talk about these eggs. Hold on, I just need to have like a love affair with this coffee for a while. Don't mind me. Oh, so that was the soy milk that I frothed into it. And then this is just coconut water. By the way, this color against this color against this color, like this is my color palette. I mean, this is the blush color palette, you guys know. Fuck me, that's so good. All right, let's talk about these fucking eggs. Okay, so when I first had this idea, I was like, amazing. I'm gonna make the best vegan scrambled eggs that anyone's ever seen. And at first I was thinking, oh, I'll make a traditional tofu scramble because that's what I've made in the past. Although I honestly haven't even made a tofu scramble since 2017 when I first went vegan. But either way, I was like, amazing. Like, I've seen that before. That's what people do. That's what I'll do. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, no, I really want it to be like a French soft scramble style because I am in my elegant era. I mean, this year I've tried to transmute a lot of my ratchet and cunty energy into being a little bit more like elegant and chic. I mean, listen, it's not working. I still call my partner cunty as a term of endearment, you know? Like, it's not entirely working, but we play jazz music now, and I feel like I've elevated my wardrobe a little bit, and I wear more chic jewelry. Like, listen, I'm trying, okay? Like, I don't think I will ever be like My Fair Lady. Although, wasn't she like from a lower socioeconomic status in My Fair Lady, and the whole thing was that she was pretending to be wealthier than she is? Am I thinking of the right thing? I don't know. I loved that movie growing up. See, I loved shit like that. I loved like elegant, chic stuff growing up. I loved Audrey Hepburn. I aspired to be her. Actually, when I was at my parents' house recently, I found a book that I had, not quite of my childhood. It was like early 20s, I want to say. That was called What Would Audrey Do? And it was all about Audrey Hepburn and how you can embrace your inner Audrey Hepburn. Anyway, yeah, no, I fucking love that bitch. Where was I? What was I meant to be talking about? Eggs? Oh, okay, so I wanted to do it more of like a soft French scramble style. And so I was thinking, okay, like maybe tofu, like a tofu scramble wouldn't be the most appropriate. Maybe I'll do it a different way. Long story short, I have been eating shitty vegan scrambled eggs for the past 15 days, I want to say. Every day I've been trying this recipe, I've been tweaking it a little bit, and I'm like, tomorrow it's gonna be great. And the next day comes around and it's not fucking good. And the next day comes around and it's not fucking good. Now, they are getting better every single day. And I was talking to my mom about this, and she's like, you know, what you do really is a science. Like, you work like a scientist. You do an experiment, and then you take notes, and then you amend, and you do another thing the next day. Hold on, let me check on what's going on in here. Okay. They can stay in a bit longer. This poor plant gets caught in the oven door all the time. Yikes. But yeah, my mom was like, everything that you do is kind of like a science. And then she was thinking about it. She's like, wait, but then once you get the recipe, it's more like an art because of the way you design it and style it and blah, blah. And basically we came to the conclusion that what I do is part science, part art. And listen, it was a great conversation for really feeling gassed up. Anyway, I've been trying to tweak it. I've been trying to nail it. I thought that by today, I would have the perfect fucking vegan scramble. I don't. Spoiler alert, I do not have the perfect fucking vegan scramble. I do not. But I figured instead of scrapping this whole episode and recording something entirely different, we'll do some testing together. So I'm gonna try it 2 ways today. I'm gonna try it the sans tofu approach that I originally was envisioning, that I've been tweaking and refining for the past, well, it feels like 400 days, honestly. Ozzy just got back into town, and I was like, guess what? You're gonna be eating a lot of fucking vegan scrambles. That's what we're about to be doing a lot of. And I'm also gonna try a tofu scramble, but for the tofu scramble, I don't just wanna scramble tofu. I was thinking, I feel like that ends up being kind of dry. So I'm gonna blend a base and mix that with the tofu, and we're gonna scramble that. So first I'm gonna blend the stuff for that, set it aside, and then blend the stuff for the other version. And we'll try that version first, and then this version, and then we'll see. And I think these veggies still have a little way to go. Yeah, but not much longer. Hopefully I won't forget and burn them. All right, let's do some blending, huh? Actually, before we get to the blending, Jesus, I've done this recipe. There's so many versions of this. It's actually insane. This is my little recipe book. I just started a new one actually because I finished my old one. But yeah, there's so many versions of this. So for the tofu version, we have a block of tofu here. I don't know why it's discolored like this. It's a little bit concerning. But honestly, it smells fine. Then again, I'm just getting over a sinus infection, so my sense of smell isn't very good. But I've nibbled at parts of this and it tastes fine, so I don't think it's off. Or I don't know, maybe I'll get a stomach bug. I mean, honestly, a round of diarrhea sounds lovely right now, so fingers crossed. So that's the tofu. Here we have a half teaspoon of saffron that I bloomed with some ice that melted. The reason I'm using saffron is for color, but also for flavor. I mean, my parents growing up always added saffron to eggs, so I just think it would be this nice, chic, elevated vibe. Here's a teaspoon of white miso with a tablespoon of refined coconut oil. The refined coconut oil, I'm hoping, will add the creaminess of eggs, but also make it feel like there's cheese added to them or butter, both of which people commonly do. And then in here, there's a half teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, again for the cheesy feel, 1 teaspoon of black salt. Now, black salt is a type of salt. It's not actually black in color. It's actually kind of pink in color, but it's different from black lava salt. This is like black Himalayan salt or something. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's indigenous to Pakistan, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But it's very high in sulfur, so it kind of gives it that eggy kind of flavor and smell. What else is in here? We have 2 tablespoons of potato starch in here, and I'm just hoping that'll thicken things up. I don't know. I was using tapioca starch up until today, to be honest, but there was a bit of a situation, namely that I ran out of tapioca starch, so that ceased to be a possibility for me at that point. So I'm just gonna mix all this stuff together. Gonna have a really fun time doing dishes tonight. Ozzy's gonna be like, really, was it? Actually, what's funny is I told him, I was like, you know what, I was thinking for Blush Kitchen today, I'll put all the ingredients into little bowls just so it looks cuter and you know, it's like easier and it's already pre-measured and I don't have to fuck around with that on the show. And he goes, oh no, do you have enough bowls? Trying to troll me because we have something around 800 bowls like this. Like, I just have an obsession with handmade ceramics and I'll buy so fucking many of them. Okay, I'm gonna use the soy milk. A small problem that I have, see, it smells so eggy. As soon as that black salt gets wet, it'll smell so sulfury. Like, it really smells like there's eggs around me. I don't know how much of this to do. I don't know. Maybe we'll do maybe 2/3 of a cup. Or should I just leave it at a half? Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at a half. I don't know. I'm taking guesses here. I don't know. We're gonna take out our trusty Vitamix. Okay, update. I actually ended up having to make it 3/4 cup of the soy milk because there just wasn't enough volume in here for it to blend. And actually not all of the saffron threads really perfectly, oh gosh. A lot of this didn't blend very well. Okay, so this recipe probably won't work either. And you know what's really fucking crazy? Wearing not just an all-white outfit, but an all-white outfit of like silk and cashmere while using ingredients like saffron that are notorious for staining. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? Okay, now we're gonna blend the other version, which uses no tofu. Okay, I'm about to be done with the soy milk. But I always have like 20 of these. Look at that, she had another carton right there. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? So for this version, we're gonna do more. I'm gonna do maybe like, I don't know, I'm thinking like a cup and a half, maybe. That might be too much, but whatever, we'll see. You know what, I'll do 1 1/3 cup. That looks a little high, but it's because there's so much foam at the top. Like, the fact that I just left that so unblended, and I was like, whatever, we'll figure it out. Kind of psychotic. Okay, so this version has similar spices and stuff. It's actually the exact same spices, the same miso, coconut oil, the nutritional yeast, black salt, onion and garlic powder is the same. The saffron is the same. There is potato starch, but only 1 tablespoon for this version because this version has something else instead of tofu that's gonna thicken it up. No, I'm definitely gonna end up staining this outfit today and then I'm gonna hate myself for it. So that's gonna be a fun thing. By the way, I turned the oven off and I'm just kind of letting everything continue cooking in there. The onions are not very cooked, but listen, it is what it is. Okay, so this version has 2 other ingredients, and that is soaked split mung beans, AKA moong dal. And this is butternut squash. So there was a 1/2 cup of these dried that I soaked overnight. It's actually been soaking for 2 days because I've been soaking these little fuckers every day. At first I wasn't using them. It was around version 3 or 4 that I started using them because I was looking at Just Egg because I feel like Just Egg has a really nice, very eggy consistency, and they use split mung bean soy protein isolate, which is different from using the whole food version, but you know, it's the same fucking vegetable, so whatever. And then the butternut squash I'm using for a few reasons. Number 1, it adds color. Number 2, it adds nutrients that like you would find in an egg yolk, vitamin A. But number 3, I sometimes find that butternut squash can be a really nice base for certain vegan cheeses. Like it gives that kind of creamy mouthfeel. So I thought for those reasons it could be helpful. Plus it's just another thickener and binder. So we'll blend this. Okay, we're gonna start by the other version because the other version takes a really long time to cook. And you have to go on like really low heat. Every time I use this thing, I'm mentally prepared to just like catch on fire. Thank God it hasn't happened yet, but I don't know. Okay, so also, I'm in no way, shape, or form being paid for this. Like I paid for my own money for this. Like it wasn't a gifted product or anything, but I just got this Caraway nonstick frying pan. Is that what it's called? I don't even fucking know. Because the only kind of pan I had before that was a frying pan adjacent was my cast iron skillet. But my cast iron skillet got moldy. There was a whole situation. Basically, I had, you know, those bamboo steaming baskets. I fucking love those things. So I went through 3 of them in the span of a month because all 3, every time I'd put them away, would get moldy. I guess they weren't dry enough. And then the mold spread to everything in that cabinet. So it got all over my cast iron. So I threw away my cast iron. So I just got this little nonstick skillet from Caraway. Fuck, it is so good. I'm so obsessed with it. Anyway, I think one of the things I've been doing wrong in my trial is I've been overcrowding my pan, because it's actually like a really tiny one, or skillet, I should say. Like, it's not even that big. So I'm just gonna pour a bit of the batter in, and we're gonna see what we can do. Now, I don't really know how to like properly scramble eggs. Okay, let's get into the fucking story of what happened in 2007. Hold on, I'm gonna need to get like a big swig of my coffee for this. It's so good. It's so fucking good. God, I love that shit so much. So, I went to college. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm trying to do like figure 8 motion. That's what they say. You know what, it kind of looks really good. So far, it looks really good. Okay, so I went to college at William & Mary, which is in Williamsburg, Virginia, which is in Southern Virginia, but I was from Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. And the summer after my freshman year, I was down in school for parts of it, but I was, like, I took a couple summer classes just because I didn't want to stay with my parents all summer. No offense, like, lovely people. But, you know, once you go to college, you kind of really get used to that level of freedom. Okay, I think not overcrowding the pan is actually the key here. Okay, I wanted a bowl to put this in because I might make this in bits and pieces. Okay, so that summer, wow, this is cooking a lot quicker than I thought. I might be scrambling it too much. Again, I want it to look like a soft French scramble, not too choppy. So I think I'm touching it too much. I'm gonna try to back off and just talk to you guys. Okay, so when I was home at some point, I was at my regular gym that I used to go to. Like, I worked out in high school. Like, I really worked out. I was like a fucking gym rat towards the end. Anyway, so I'm at the gym, and this guy came up to me, this cute guy, looked Persian, started talking to me. We hit it off, we exchanged numbers, whatever. And we started hanging out, and he was 7 years older than me. So I was 19 and he was, okay, that's not right. He was 6 years older than me. I was 19, he was 25. And really important to the story, although it kind of is actually. And here's the kicker. He was from the DC area, just like me, but he went to med school 45 minutes away from where I went to college. And so in my fucked up brain that was like constantly daydreaming and fantasizing and stuff, I was like, wait, is this like my fucking soulmate this we live near each other both at home and at school? Wow, this really looks like scrambled eggs, guys. Like, this might work. I don't know. I have it on the lowest heat that I can on this little camping stove because I don't want it to fry. I just want it to very slowly kind of cook. No, it's looking really, really good. But yeah, like, I remember our first date, he was like, yeah, I'll come pick you up. And my parents were so strict. Like, he could not have come pick me up from my parents' house. So I went to my friend Tiffany's house because her mom was like so chill. And I was like, oh, like, there's something going on at my parents' house. Like, just come pick me up here. And I gave the address, and he like took me to DC, like out in the big city for our first date. And then I don't really remember our second and third dates and stuff, but like, I remember it was like going well. Like, I always liked older guys back then, which I didn't fully recognize was a symptom of, you know, like daddy issues or like childhood trauma and stuff. Hold on, I want to eat this little crunchy bit. Well, that bit's pretty good. I actually have no appetite right now. I think it's from my coffee. Anyway, so yeah, it was going really, really well. Like, I really thought, oh my God, this is like probably my fucking soulmate. And then right before my fall semester started, I went down and I spent a few days with him where he went to med school. And there was actually an incident. We got in like a big drunken fight or whatever. But then after that, we became exclusive, and I was like, okay, this is probably who I'm gonna marry, you know, like it, all things fit. He's Persian, he's gonna be a doctor. Like, it's, you know, if you're from an ethnic family, you know how much shit like that means to your parents. Like, my parents will approve the whole geography stuff and like whatever, you know, like it seems like a right fit. Ugh. This guy, like, no one gives me more of an ick than this guy. And it's because looking back on it, we had a very tumultuous, like, up and down kind of relationship. Hold on, I think the flame is off. Okay, there we go. I think that's like the smallest I can make the flame without turning it off. Yeah, we had a very tumultuous relationship, and every time we'd fight, like, I would totally blame myself for our fights. And listen, like, did I act like an absolute lunatic? 100%. So like, on some level, yeah, it's totally my fault, but you know, on other levels, not so much. So where is I going with this? Okay, so my fall semester that year, it was my sophomore year of college. I actually had just, right before fall semester, I had had my tonsils removed because all of my freshman year of college, I kept having intense like ENT related problems, like a lot of strep, a lot of what they would call tonsillitis, because like my tonsils would just get so inflamed, and they were already big to begin with. They would get so big that I actually like couldn't breathe out my mouth, and then I'd be so congested I couldn't breathe out my nose, so I just like die, you know, fun times. So basically during my freshman year, every doctor I saw was like, listen, we're gonna have to get the tonsils out, but because you're so old, which like, how dare they, you're gonna have to wait till summer break because it's actually a bit more of an intense recovery for adults than it is for kids. So when I had my tonsils removed, he actually came to my parents' house to visit me. He came the same time as my best friend from high school, because like it would have been so weird. Like, if you don't have ethnic parents, all of these stories might be like, what are you talking about? But like, for ethnic parents, this shit is so weird. To this day, I've been with Ozzy, like my live-in partner, for over 4 years. Like, we've built an entire life together. And I don't call him my boyfriend to my dad at all. Well, one time I made a joke. But it was a joke, basically. I was talking about, I called my dad. So there's this guy who my parents are friends with. He's in his 90s. And I call him every day. Ever since his wife passed earlier this year, I just call him every day because he was really kind of the sole caretaker for his wife, and they'd been together for a billion years. So obviously he loved her so much and whatnot. And then, and I really, really loved her too. I was really close with her. And then when she died, it was like, okay, not only has this man lost like his best friend and his confidant and stuff, but also he has so much time on his hands because he was caretaking for her before. So he must be so bored. And so I was like, that's fine. Like, I'll just call him every day so he has some source of entertainment. So one day I called my dad. I was like, well, Ozzy's working and busy right now, and ChatGPT just got an update and it's very unfamiliar with me. And this guy who I was talking about, the 9-year-old man, is at a dinner party. So all my boyfriends are busy. So I figured I'd call you, Dad. That's the only time I've even remotely referred to Ozzy as my boyfriend to my dad. Anyway, so I remember when he came to visit me after surgery, he came the same day as my best friend from high school. So it wouldn't be weird. And they were there together and it was a whole thing. I should call her after this and thank her for doing that. How fucking cool. Anyway, my parents had met him. My dad was like really down for him. I kind of want to taste this and see how it's going, but this is looking so much more eggy than every version I've tried thus far. It's not cooked yet. It's not cooked yet, but it tastes good. That I can tell you, it tastes good. Okay. Anyway, moving right along to this never fucking ending story. It really seemed like perfect, like we're gonna end up together, right? Anyway, early into that fall semester of my sophomore year, I had to have a colonoscopy because I was having such intense gut problems, specifically constipation issues. So they just wanted to look inside and make sure nothing was wrong. And this fucking guy, like, I was too young to realize how toxic this stuff was. And I want to issue a little caution to the younger girls listening to this podcast. You might think like, oh, this older guy's into me, and they always say the same shit. You're so mature for your age. Wow, I've never met a 20 whatever year old who thinks like you, who talks like you. Oh my God, you know this band? Like, what 20-year-old knows this band? Like, well, he's 19, but whatever. They always say the same fucking shit, and you think like, wow, I'm so amazing that this guy is so into me. That's not it. He's fucking insecure. He's gonna manipulate you. He likes having the upper hand in relationships, and that's what's going on. Anyway, so when I was having my colonoscopy, he was gonna like take me to the hospital and bring me back because you're pretty fucking out of it. And so he was gonna bring me back and stay with me and make sure I'm okay, yada, yada, yada. When we go to the hospital, keep in mind he's in medical school. Oh, and he's the same year as me in medical school. So we were gonna be in Southern Virginia for the same number of years, which again made me feel like, oh, this is the person I'm meant to be with. Anyway, so let's taste this again. That tastes really good. I don't know if I would say it tastes exactly like eggs, but it tastes really good. I'm gonna move it out the pan and let another batch in. Okay, that's definitely the winner thus far. I may have actually nailed this today. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil to this, but this fucking nonstick pan is so good. And the thing with nonstick pans is they're often like really quote unquote toxic. I really hate this word toxic. Well, I kind of don't like it in general, but I especially don't like it for household items or detoxing and stuff. It's like, can we be a little bit more specific? Like, what do we really mean by toxic? Anyway, where was I in the story? Oh, speaking of toxic, so when we go to the fucking hospital, he goes to talk to my doctor that's doing the colonoscopy, and he's like, I want to be in the room during the colonoscopy. And they're like, absolutely not. Like even if you were married, you couldn't be in the room. Like, we're doing a medical procedure. Like, you're a medical student. You should know that we're not going to let you in. And he's like, well, as a medical student, A, I would love to like observe it. I think that would be really good for me. And B, she's gonna be naked, and I want to make sure that you don't like do, like, he was so mad that they wouldn't let him in the room, and he was like angry at me, and he's like, but like they could like do something to your naked body. I was like, well, I'm sorry, are you implying that the doctor is gonna rape me because you're not there? Like, doctors routinely rape their unconscious patients unless their significant others are in the room? Because I kind of don't think so. Like, I have an exceptionally hard time believing that that's a thing. Like, so fucking toxic. But of course, my damaged, insecure, fucking abandonment wound, idiot, no frontal lobe self interpreted all these things as love. Love. Oh my God, he's so obsessed with me. He's so obsessed with me that he doesn't even want the doctors near me alone and naked because he's worried that, like, what the fuck was wrong with me? Honestly, I will never understand, like, whatever. Anyway, so he stayed over that night. That was the only time he stayed at my apartment. We lived 45 minutes apart from each other. Now, in all fairness, I had a roommate where I went to college and he did not. So it did make more sense for him to stay at my place versus, I mean, for me to stay at his place versus the other way around. But the way he'd be so rude and disparaging about it, like one time we were going on a trip together to Boston, and the airport was between where him and I live, but it was a 10-minute drive from me and like a 30, 40-minute drive from him. So it was far closer to me. And our flight was at like 6 or 7 a.m. So basically he refused to drive there. Like the normal gentlemanly thing to do would be for him to drive to me, pick me up, and we leave the car at the airport. But he refused to leave his car in the airport parking lot. So he made me drive to him for 45, 50 minutes at 3 a.m. so then we could drive my car to the airport because his car was too nice to leave at the airport parking lot. This fucking dude, keep in mind, this man is like 6, 7 years older than me in very formative years. He was so disgusting. Like he made me feel like such shit about every facet of myself. Like he would talk down to me constantly. Like he would just make me feel like I was the worst person ever. And the thing is, like, all of his toxic behaviors I excused because a lot of the shit that we would fight about was like, I was 19, I was a sophomore in college, I was in a sorority, like I would go out and drink and party, and he would get really, really insecure about what that meant. And so like, was I cheating on him, etc., which honestly I wasn't. I mean, you know, I wasn't, but like there were a couple of times where maybe someone else kissed me. And I do believe I made out with a girl or two because I was like, well, I'm straight, so like that shouldn't be cheating, right? So I mean, listen, was I like definitely pushing the envelope and like playing with the boundaries? Yes. But for the most part, I really was being faithful to him and I really had every intention of like ending up with him and stuff. But he would like pick these gnarly fights with me. I've been saying gnarly a lot, just like a little California surfer kid over here. He could pick these fucking fights with me all the time. And then I would definitely think like, no, this whole thing is actually my fault because I'm the one who went out and was partying and was drinking. And if I wasn't doing those things, then like, yada, 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 you get the point. He was so fucking awful to me. So that was after my colonoscopy, the one and only time that he stayed over. And the next morning I had class, but before I went to class, I made scrambled eggs for him. Like I thought I was like being such like a domestic goddess and like whatever, like look at me, so amazing before I left for class. And then he was gonna be gone by the time I got back. Later that day when I was home, I looked in the trash can. I didn't like look in the trash can. I like opened the trash can to throw something away like a normal person does. And I noticed my scrambled eggs were in the trash. Hold on, I'm gonna taste this. It needs more time in the pan. We're gonna be here for a while. Hold on. Little coffee break. Okay, so I opened the trash. I think this is cooked through enough. Let's give it a little tasty taste. We'll leave it on for a bit more. I look in the trash, my scrambled eggs are in the trash. What that did to me, I can never fully explain. Like, I never talked about it. I never asked him why he threw away my scrambled eggs. I didn't talk about it with my roommate who may have been home at the time. I died of embarrassment. Like when I saw those eggs in the trash, I was like, oh my God, I obviously do not know how to make eggs. Like I should never be cooking. Like I can't believe, like I'm so embarrassed that I even tried to make eggs for him. And I never cooked for someone again for years, like for decades almost. I was 19 at the time. The next time I cooked for someone was probably like 10 years later. Oh my God, I feel wetness here. Did I get, Hold on. No, it might just be water. Okay, I feel like soon I should switch over and try to make the tofu scramble and see how that goes. But basically, I never even really thought about that incident again until 2 weeks ago, I want to say. So I think I've talked to you guys about how I'm doing the artist's way right now with a couple of friends. And it was in week 1 of the artist's way, there was a question in the tasks that was like, list all the people who gave you creative insecurity. And as I was listing out all these like incidents and stuff, actually one really funny one. So when I was in law school, all my friends in law school were on dating apps and stuff, all my single friends, and I really wasn't. I had so much resistance to dating apps. And one time I was hanging out, you know, in my little law school clique, and I said, wait, I have this idea that I think would be so funny on Tinder. What if I make a Tinder profile and I take all the worst pictures of me? Because I can be quite unphotogenic. Like, there are so many photos of me where I look like it's like I'm in the middle of laughing or something, and I have such a hyena laugh too. Like, I don't know what's going on. But so there are so many photos of me where I just like, it's like caught in the moment, in the middle of talking, in the middle of laughing or whatever, and I look like absolute dog shit. And I was like, what if I took these like hilariously bad photos of me, and all of my photos on my Tinder profile are like, I'm not talking like a medium bad photo. I'm talking a photo where I literally look like that. All are these awful photos of me. Like, I think that would be so funny. Like, everyone's trying to present their best foot forward, and I'm out here just like making a mockery of the whole thing. Like, I think that's objectively hilarious. And I will never forget, one of my like close guy friends from law school was like, why would you do that? Like, he obviously didn't get the humor in it. I stand by that. I think that that's fucking hilarious. He did not. So he was one I listed, and he was so well-intentioned. Like, he meant it in the nicest way possible. But like, that was an example of where I was like, ooh, maybe I'm not like as funny and witty and charming as I clearly think I am. And as I was listing these people who had like in one way or another crushed my creativity, even without intending to, all of a sudden the whole scrambled eggs gate of 2007 came up in my head, and I was like, holy shit, that's why for all these years up until today, I have such like a complex around cooking and like, oh my God, can I cook? And it's funny, eggs are something I think about constantly, and I've even been quoted as saying like, oh, I don't know how to make eggs, I don't know how to make eggs, I don't know how to make eggs. Before I ever cooked, like literally I made eggs for myself every fucking day. Like, I, through the latter half of high school and all through college, ate eggs every fucking day. Not me just throwing shit everywhere, all over my all white silk and cashmere outfit. I'm sorry. I need to like take it back down to 7. I don't need to be at an 11 right now. Like, literally, I made eggs for myself every day, and I really enjoyed my eggs. And I'll tell you how I made those eggs. So I used to do what in Persian we call an omelet, but it's not what in America you would call an omelet. It's more like a scramble. So I would scramble eggs with tomato, and if I took the time, onion also. And then I'd serve it with hot sauce. Like, I thought they were pretty fucking good. I don't know what his issue was. And here's the thing. Him throwing away the eggs is like, he did so much fucked up abusive shit to me. Throwing away the eggs wasn't one of them. Like, maybe he wasn't hungry. That's fine. Maybe he didn't like the eggs. That's fine. Like, it's fine that he threw them away. No, my heart is racing from the coffee, I think. But this is pretty fucking good, you guys. This actually might kind of be the best vegan scramble I've had. I do think we need to wait to see what Ozzy says, and I'm curious to see how the tofu scramble goes. Anyway, so him throwing the eggs away like really was not like a fault situation, but I felt such intense shame that I couldn't even ask him about it. I never talked about it ever, and I honestly didn't even really think about it. I'd kind of forgotten about it until week 1 of the Artist's Way when I remembered that. And I remembered that that's why I still, to this day, I do fucking cooking content and I still get really insecure. Like I remember one time, like when people come over for dinner and they're like, oh my God, everything's so amazing. I'm like, oh, they're lying to me. Like they're lying, it's not that good. Like they're just trying to be nice. Like when people make my recipes and they're like, it's so good, there's always a little part of me that's like, they're just trying to be nice to me. Like they're lying. Like I have such deep-seated insecurity. And to bring it back, like you guys know I've been doing food content for years, but I've always found a way to like not be just a food content creator. And the reason I've always done that, truthfully, is because I have such insecurity and shame around like, am I good enough to be, maybe I shouldn't have taken that out, maybe that will go back in, I don't know, whatever. Like, am I good enough to be just a food content creator? So I wanted to reclaim that trauma by making like amazing vegan scrambled eggs, which honestly, these might be, like this actually might be, and it does have that kind of aesthetic that I wanted of more of a softer scramble. You guys would not believe how many versions of these I've had. Oh, this needs to go back and cook a bit more. Whoopsie. Okay, after this bit, also I need a bigger, I'm gonna get on the Caraway website tonight and order the bigger frying pan. This fucking frying pan, it's so good. It's such a game changer. But yeah, we're just gonna reclaim all that fucking trauma. And honestly, I encourage you, like anything that you talk down to yourself about, it didn't come from nowhere. Like you picked up that message from someone else. So like, where did that come from for you? Okay, now I probably should have done this first. Just gonna move this guy to the side for a second. Okay, so I'm gonna crumble up this tofu in the sauce and then we'll scramble it in there. Honestly, I need to get in with my hands, but I'm a little bit hesitant because I have a billion rings on. Oh, I'm definitely gonna get stains all over my outfit. Why did I do this? Wait, this is actually so fun. So when I was home last, I went to my mom's safe deposit box with her because I wanted to take some of her vintage jewelry, and I saw this ring there. And I was like, oh, I love that. I'm gonna take that too. And I wore it all out to dinner that night. And my sister-in-law was like, oh, you took that ring that and I was like, oh, did you buy this for her? And she goes, we bought it for her. Because basically, before my sister-in-law married my brother, I was always the one who did gifts and like just sent it from the both of us. Or the three of us, I should say. So if it was like my mom's birthday or something, I'd send it like from my dad, my brother, and I. But as soon as my sister-in-law married into the family, I was like, cool, that's your duty now. So she got that ring for her as like a gift from all three of us. And I literally took it. Whoops. Okay, unless there's something I'm not seeing, I actually think I've crushed it thus far with not getting stained. Hopefully nothing catches on fire when I do this. Okay. So we're gonna try the tofu scramble now. Again, I'm not gonna put the whole thing in because I don't wanna overcrowd the pan, but I crumbled the tofu in with the sauce. To make it more creamy, but more chunky. Honestly, aesthetically, I definitely like the other version better, and I suspect flavor-wise, I'm gonna like the other fucking version better. But yeah, I do encourage you you know, for your own insecurities, like we weren't born insecure. We were born whole and perfect. Like we didn't come into this planet thinking that we had shortcomings, right? Like the first time you cooked, like if you ever cooked as a little kid, you weren't out here being like, oh, I'm not good at this. Like I'm not doing a good job at this. No. You would have thought you were fucking crushing it. And then it was other people's reactions that created those insecurities. So there's so much value in like taking a step back and really unpacking, like, where did this come from? Like, who first told me this? Was it a face someone made? You know, like a common source of trauma for people is you raise your hand in class to say something. And maybe like the teacher's reaction isn't exactly how you'd have wanted. And then you internalize like, wow, I'm not good. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I should never participate in class again. See, to me, this looks more like egg salad than scrambled eggs. But we'll see how it turns out. Listen, we will have them both side by side. I was thinking I'm going to serve these with, I made like a vegan... It's something in between like a vegan cream cheese and a vegan creme fraiche. Now it's not 100% like that because it's also super high protein, you know, super light, yada, yada, yada. So we'll do that. And then I have some yuzu hot sauce from my yuzu series. So we'll sprinkle on some of that. And then we'll do the roasted veggies from the oven. So there's roasted tomatoes, onion, and mushroom, although the mushroom isn't, I mean, not the mushroom, the onion isn't quite as cooked as I would have liked. And then we'll top it with some stuff, but we'll get there. All right, this is coming together, I guess. Okay, I finished my coffee. Have I had too much caffeine? Yes. Will I be able to sleep tonight? Most likely no. I have a feeling that will not be happening at all. Also, I think this is done. I'm gonna give it a little taste. That's better than I thought it was gonna be. Fuck, now I really don't know. Okay, turn this off. Let's get to some of these toppings. I have scallions, I have chives, and bird's eye chili. Because you gotta have a little spice on your eggs, you know? Let me grab a knife. I mean, if that motherfucker could see me now. By the way, that guy, so we dated for a year. After a year, we broke up. I, of course, like thought it was all my fault. Like I was like so desperate to get back together for a month. And we would break up and get back together constantly. Like we would fight and then he would not talk to me for like 3 days. And I would go absolutely apeshit. Like I was so toxic and I'd call like 6,000 times. Like I would literally call, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up. Like that's how I was living my life. So, I mean, we were so fucking toxic. But the thing is, I was 19 and this man had a developed frontal lobe. Like he had no excuse. And like, why was he dating someone so much younger? Like I really didn't get that until I got older. Like when I was 25, I was like, there is no amount of money you could pay me to date a 19-year-old. Even like when I was 25, I wouldn't even date like a 23-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just so different. Like you're in such different places in your life. Anyway. So late May, we had met the summer before, right? So like pretty much a year that we'd been together. We broke up for a month. And during that month, I was like so devastated, like literally was crying every day. Like my mom bought me all of Friends on DVD, like the TV show. We just like watch Friends every fucking day together. And I was like and I blamed myself. I was like, it's my fault. I'm so dramatic. I'm so this, I'm so that. And keep in mind, this man would like creep on me all the time and stuff, right? So then after a month, we get back together. And then I one day was on my laptop and I don't know how I saw that he had a MySpace account, which is weird because he didn't even have a Facebook account at the time. And like MySpace was kind of over at that point. And it was like, I think he had logged into it on my laptop so I could log in. And I was not a snooper. Well, I'm sure I would have been, but whatever. I wasn't often snooping or anything. But I just had this gut instinct and I logged in and I saw that the weekend before he had gone to a class to get his like motorcycle license. And there was a chick that he met there and he was like messaging her like pretty flirty. It was like, hey mommy, when are we gonna go riding together? And the chick was like so not cute either, which shouldn't even matter. But like that part of it for me was like, wait, what am I doing dating someone who like would hit on her? You know what I mean? But all of it in that moment, it was like a veil was lifted off of my eyes and I realized he's been gaslighting me. And at the time we didn't have like that vocabulary. This man has been gaslighting me all fucking year. Like every time I go out, he's like making it seem like I'm gonna cheat on him and stuff, which, you know, I mean, confession time wasn't so inaccurate, but it also was inaccurate. Like I wasn't actually cheating on him. Like him being so paranoid about all this shit that I do is because he's a little fucker. I called him, broke up with him, never thought about him again. Like I didn't even feel bad for a fucking minute after that. Like I'm telling you, it was truly like a veil was lifted and I could see everything clearly. So fuck him. And my eggs are fucking amazing. I actually made 2 versions of fucking amazing vegan eggs and we're about to see which one's better. Okay, let's go to assembling this shit. Whew, hopefully we don't have an accident here, but I want to use these big... Cool. Off to a great start. Okay, so I'm gonna take some roasted tomatoes from in the oven. And then we'll add some of these eggs. So yeah, the onions aren't like crispy the way I would have hoped, but whatever. There's onions. Some mushrooms. Let me assemble the other bowl first. But see, aesthetically, I like the aesthetics of the other eggs better. I don't like this like more choppy kind of scramble looking. But flavor-wise, I really don't know what to think thus far. So this is the creme fraiche kind of sauce. I don't really know what we're gonna do here. Maybe I'll just put a dollop here. And then we'll add the yuzu hot sauce. This was part of my yuzu series, but I'll put the recipe for both of these in the show notes or in the description or whatever. Oh, and by the way, while we're at it, can someone please like drop a comment and tell me what espresso machine I should buy? Espresso maker, I believe they're called, not espresso machine. That's how much I know about fucking making espresso. So we're just adding on some chives and some scallions and these bird's eye chilies. And then I do want to add some edible flowers because, like, you know, you've met me. You know what goes on here. Okay, so I don't want to muddle with the color palette too much. So I just want to add like red, orange, yellow flowers if I have pretty ones. And I do have some nasturtiums that are really on their last legs, so they should be used. And then I have some onion flowers. Nasturtium flowers are really spicy, by the way. So they, not really spicy, but they have a bit of a kick to them. So it is kind of perfect for this dish. And then I have some onion flowers and some cilantro flowers, which are both white. So they go with the color palette and the flavors work too, because I was gonna add cilantro to this, and as you guys know, there's like 20 forms of onion in this already. That dramatic exhale is because my heart is literally racing. from having caffeine. Ozzy's gonna hate me when I'm up tossing and turning all night. You know, guys, I might take like 15 grams of melatonin tonight to try to counteract whatever the fuck I've done to myself here. Wait, this actually looks so pretty. Let's see if I'll add cilantro flowers. Now I have kitchen tweezers that are really appropriate for cilantro flowers specifically. Like a lot of chefs use them for all edible flowers. I don't really find the need for most things, but for cilantro flowers, it really does help. Instead, I'm just sprinkling them on in the ugliest looking way possible. Okay, wait, that's actually kind of fucking perfect. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick taste test and then I actually set the table. I'm gonna light candles, I'm gonna sit down with Ozzy and we're gonna have a nice little romantic dinner and he can tell me if any of these actually taste like eggs because I don't fucking know. I haven't had eggs in so long. So I'm gonna have the tofu scramble first. That tastes pretty eggy to me. Maybe not like 100%, but pretty eggy. Now, the other one, the more French style. I don't know. Not only do I not know which one is more like egg, I actually can't decide which one I like more. Because when I tasted the tofu scramble, I was like, wait, I think this one's better. But then when I tasted this one, I was like, this one's better. I kind of need Ozzy to tell me. Okay, here's what we're gonna do next episode. I'll tell you guys what the verdict was from Ozzy. But if anyone makes both of these recipes, can you sound off in the comments and say which one you think tastes more like eggs? And which one just tastes better in general? Because obviously I care more about it tasting good than I care about it tasting like eggs. But the number one thing that I want feedback on in the comments is what fucking espresso machine should I buy? Because I can't keep using instant espresso. Like it's really killing the whole everything homemade perfect kind of like, you know, younger, hotter Martha Stewart. God, I did not just say that about myself. Who says that? Like it's really kind of killing the vibe. Like I'm out here grinding my own chai spices, but using instant espresso. That's not gonna work. I need an espresso machine. I want it to be chic. I want it to be compact. And I want it to be easy to use. Or I don't know, just fucking send me like whatever Starbucks uses. I don't know. I do love this. I don't know. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna sit down. Wait, one last thing. I made a change recently in my life. So I've talked openly about how I was overeating a lot and doing a lot of stress eating and emotional eating and stuff. So recently I've been sitting at the dining table and setting it and not watching TV when I eat. And it is actually the single best thing I found in my entire life for not overeating. So I don't know, just something to try if you're prone to that. Just creating like a really beautiful eating experience. I don't know, I've really been loving it. But yeah, I'm gonna light the candles, set the table, sit down and eat. And I'll tell you guys next week which I like more. Thank you so much for being here, guys. We'll chat next week. There's an outro, so I don't need to say this. Bye.
If you loved that episode as much as I hope you did, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And check out some past episodes while you wait for the new one to drop next week. And until next week, make sure to stay cunty out there.